Welcome back. My next guest is Nestor Aparicio, doing great things on Baltimore Positive 1570 AM WNST. Nestor, welcome in.
Dennis, I'm busy this weekend. I don't know if you know or not. Are you busy this weekend?
I'm busy every day. I don't know what
Where
it's like to not be busy, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining, but going to the game Thursday night, I've got my tickets. Can't make the weekend, but
are you
uh,
sitting? Where are you sitting? You like good seats at a baseball game,
well, you
right?
know
Like
what?
that matters to you.
I'm behind the home plate usually, but one of my sponsors gave me half a dozen club level seats, so I'll be around the first base side, club level, near the press box actually.
See, Dennis has friends. One friend, two, three, four.
I'm very blessed, man. I tell you what,
Am
I
I
don't
Mark Belanger? Am I number 7 in your scorecard?
I don't rank my friends. Everybody's number one. They're all
Well,
number
I,
one.
I got 2 ones for you right here. Right?
Aparicio, there you go. One
Yeah,
of
two.
one. No, I
One of
have.
one.
I'm very blessed with great friends in my life, and look, I thank God every day I get up for what I have, and
Well,
it's a blessing, and we get to go to the ballpark, and you and I both watch the team Wednesday night struggle, and you and I were both waiting for them to come through and break through, and the bats to come alive, Nestor, but that didn't happen.
dude, when Henderson hit the triple, right? It's
Yep.
like
Here
you're
we
like,
go. Here
okay,
we
here we
go.
go.
Here we go.
Sprinkle some orange magic, though.
And
And,
who was
it's
up
not.
next? Was Santander next popped up right
Listen,
after him?
listen,
And
let me tell you this right now,
ah,
and this is going into this weekend, okay? Because I've been through a lot of big series. Okay, I was around here for '82 with the Brewers, do or die. Everybody here lived through Zach Britton, right? Everybody here lived through 4 games with the Royals.
yes.
Everyone here is familiar that game up at Yankee Stadium. That I still, if I were writing the truth to Adam Jones, I'd say that was the night I believed. I believed they were going to bounce the Yankees that night. They had a 1-and-out with the Yankees and the Tigers waiting. They would have had a chance to go to the World Series. In my and the Markakis thing notwithstanding that year. But this is as good as it gets, right? We're going to be at the Nest on Friday night. I would encourage everyone out there to drop by the Nest. It's literally, if you're watching the Zoom, it's above the cupcake. It's literally the second floor of the convention center, all glass, that looks literally at the warehouse at the corner of Conway and 395. They've opened it up. They named it after me. Not really. They named it the Nest. So I'm going to be there on Friday night wearing my Oriole orange. I'm at Fadley's Friday having crab cakes with the Coppin State folks. Realizing when I set it up that like it was the second week of football season, the Ravens would be 1-0, the Orioles would be competitive. I mean, the time I set this stuff up 2 months ago, they were 4 games behind Tampa, right? It was the other way. They were always chasing Tampa. The last month and a half, it's changed dramatically. This is the biggest. This is why I did Free the Birds. This is why the team exists. This is why they put the stadium downtown. This is what this is why we spent money. This is why we're offering this goof $600 million more to keep the team here. It's for this. It's not for any other reason. I mean, maybe opening day, but I mean, it, it's to create enthusiasm for the community. And this has done that, and Adam Jones has done that, and what they've done on Friday night. Now, when people go to put the game on Apple Plus or whatever the hell it's called, and they can't get the game on Friday night, there'll be something else going on. I won't be worried about that. They got cheap beer at the Nest. I'll be having a good time. But this is, I don't even have anything to compare this to. Like Luke
Really?
compared it to the statue game in 12, right? When they, but nobody really believed because they hadn't won anything in 15 years. They're 40 games over 500 right now. If you don't believe it's just because you got your eyes shut or you're just a hater. I don't know what else. Like this team can win the World Series, and it's memories like this that if they sweep Tampa this weekend, win 3 or lose 3 out of 4, and this thing goes upside down, and we go into a hellspin the next 2 weeks, just scratching and clawing, trying to get the bye. That's what's at stake here this weekend,
No,
and all the
huge.
issues with pitching and DL Hall, John Means, all these names that Fuji guys who weren't even here 3 months ago.
And
Um,
Tampa Bay's been playing very, very good ball. Orioles not so much. 18 runners in scoring position. Only one of them comes home. Hopefully the bats have come to live, Nestor. The pitching has been better than we thought, but the bats have to wake up.
well, it's situational, right? I mean, they're getting guys, they're getting base runners at times, right? I mean, not so much on Wednesday night. Wainwright, it's crazy. He's playing guitar at the end. I mean, these goodbye parties you have for the Cardinals when they've won a lot, and seeing these old timers come through at the end of their gig. We got Flaherty. By the way, Flaherty pitching Friday night. That's crazy too,
Is
right?
he really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. So, well, I mean, they're going to bring Kerstad up, right? So, like, there's all of this going on with the enthusiasm, probably just to see the enthusiasm in the building this weekend. Because Dennis, let's be honest, my wife and I thought about going down there Monday. I got offered tickets Tuesday late, but like, I I don't want to sit down there when it's empty, and now everybody wants to be there on Friday and this
Right.
weekend, which is great. I mean, and listen, and as I wrote to Adam Jones, I've been up all morning on Thursday writing to Adam Jones, writing a Dear Adam Jones letter for Friday night. This is the culmination of a lot of things, right? I mean, the Mike Elias, for these players to have a full stadium, to have meaningful pennant race games, but you wouldn't have felt that Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, right? Like, I mean, I mean, Gibson's out there pitching, and it felt like there were 12,000 people, less than that when the game started. When they're starting these games at 6:30, which I mean, it's nice for 12-year-olds, but is that who is anybody really bringing their kid to the ballpark? Because it doesn't look like many people are at the ballpark. This is for another year and another problem and winning a World Series. But saving money. I got into my first conversation with Cameron Elliott and Dr. Steve Elliott over at Elliott Chiropractic Life about the cost of playoff tickets.
Ah, there you
And
go.
what a 29-year-old young man is willing to invest in an ALDS ticket, an ALCS ticket. Like, who's going to fill the stadium? It's going to have to be us. Nobody's flying from out of town. There's no corporate seats. I mean, and the tickets are going to be, I mean, if you get a book, if somebody brings you a book of tickets, Dennis, right now and says, here's a book for the whole playoff, two books, third base line, 20 seats up, whatever. First round, 350 a ticket, maybe
Really?
400.
Wow.
Second round, 550. World Series, probably 850 or 1,000 a game. So if
That's
there's 3 and 3, or no, be 4, because we'd be the 1 seed. So be 4 and 4 is be 11 tickets, looking at upwards of $6,000 a strip, probably.
what I hear
Probably.
from you is I have to hit up my sponsors again and people I'm connected to for tickets for any kind of playoff games going forward. I'm
Well,
not
they're
paying
going to
that kind
say
of
I
money.
have the availability
Yeah.
to buy them, but they're not going to be a buck and a quarter. I mean, they're just not. I don't know what to say. Like, people are going to be pissed because they haven't paid it and they don't know it. And I see
Right.
the people at the games, and I'm not even passing judgment on who they are. I love Ed Lauer. I know, Ed Lauerstrom, he's a beautiful man. He's at every game. Go get real expensive to come to games if somebody's not letting him in the side gate.
Yeah. Well, I need a side gate entrance myself. So if Eddie gets some, I'll return the favor.
Well, I would just say this: the place is going to be packed this week. People are paying. I even said to Cameron, I'm like, you all bought that orange carpet thing where they just like sort of let you in and wander around. I don't know what sold out means on Friday night, but I got to think if there's 8,000 people that gave him $60 last month to come down there the whole month, that all of them are coming on Friday night. All of them are getting here at 3:00 looking for a t-shirt. So come by the Nest and say hello. I'll be there nice and early wearing my 79 orange throwback.
Yeah.
But
No, it looks good
yeah,
on you. Looks great on you.
I wrote this letter to Adam Jones, and I hope everybody reads it because it really had to do with him inspiring me to write about the history of the team for everybody and to have nights like this and how special this is for him. He deserves it. There's nobody deserves it more from a community standpoint, flying the flag. Dennis, I remember with my wife, I had to think about this week in Denver at the Joe Flacco Mile High Miracle game, right? It was so cold. I mean, it was like 5 degrees and raw, like country up in the windy raw. And we were up in the press box. It was 50 degrees in the press box. It was freezing. You could see your breath. I had heaters in my gloves in the overtime and in my heels of my boots in the press box. And I looked down and Adam Jones came out of the tunnel with the team.
Oh wow.
I just remember these things all these years later. And then I have a picture. I've only met Adam Jones 3 times in my life. How many times have you met Adam Jones?
Once. Just one
Once.
time. One time.
Where'd you meet him? Dealership?
Nope. Jimmy's Famous Seafood at one of their golf outings.
Oh, you're at a golf. Okay, on a golf course. Fine. So it's a charity event, right? Charity event?
Yes, correct.
Perfect. That plays right into my storyline of all of this. I've met him 3 times in my life. I met him in Steve DeCastro's skybox when my wife was in a coma. I left my wife in the hospital that morning. She'd really had a bad week. It was December 15th. I remember it all. Week before Christmas. I left my wife to go to the football game to come back to her bedside. I literally left. That was the day John Harbaugh grabbed me and pulled me into his locker room when I thought my wife was going to die. So I met him that day, and he had been out tailgating early. It was the day they did the low cash and all that stuff in the parking lot. And I ran into him at halftime, and I had a purple hat on. The picture's up on the website. And we just took a picture. He didn't even know who I was. He was still a little inebriated, having a good time. It was third quarter. It was like December. Party started at 9 a.m. It was a good day, but I just took a picture with him, and it's a beautiful picture. We're both smiling. And the day I told you about at Citi Field when I wrote the book, which was before that was in 13, he recognized me. He said hello to me. I had a press pass on. He said, hey, he started talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only other time I've ever communicated with him, and he didn't know it was me, I don't think, was on the field in the aftermath of Flacco beating Brady in Foxborough. It was cold as hell. It was 8:00 at night. We're going to the Super Bowl. I had circled the field, found my wife in the stands. All the Ravens fans were down low. The video's got tens of thousands of views on it. And as I was crossing the field to go to the locker room for the ceremony with the statue and all that stuff, I see two guys running around on the field, look like fans. And they had a Ray Lewis poster. It was a poster, a New Orleans Ray Lewis poster. And they were running around like goofs. They looked like Elmer Fudd. I mean, they had all this winter crap on. And I looked and I'm like, oh, that's Michael Phelps and Adam Jones.
That's funny.
So I ran over to them, and all I remember about it is I have a picture of it, right? I said, let me get a picture of you, but I didn't say, let me get a picture. That's how I remembered it. That's not what happened. What happened is I went up with my camera on and talked to them for 45 seconds and said, what does Ray Lewis mean to you? And they both talked to me, and they're like, it's great. So the video's up. I found it the other day when writing to Adam Jones. So I actually have video of he and I communicating that I'm sure he does not remember. I don't think anybody remembered much of what happened at the end of that day. But I don't even remember the 8-hour bus ride home. I remember selling a lot of Super Bowl packages. I remember that, and dreaming up the Ray 252 march on that bus ride home. But I do. That's my 3 interactions ever with Adam Jones. So save me a T-shirt if anybody gets one. And
nice.
But we'll be down at the Nest on Friday night. So it's a beautiful, and we haven't mentioned football, right? Like we're 1-0, injuries.
1-0.
Get after that.
Cincinnati, and we'll see what happens up there.
Who's playing Sunday? What do you really believe? Right? I mean, do you believe Linderbaum or Stanley are going to make the field?
Probably not. I don't think so. Look, but as long as Lamar's upright to have a chance, I'm hoping that they dummy down the offense against the Texans and they'll open things up. Mark Andrews is a big X factor. We didn't see him in week 1. And they'll have to score some points, and we'll see what happens. Joe Burrow had to be embarrassed by his outing against the Browns. Expect the Bengals to come out mean and very much in an attack mode. But the Ravens defense, they travel well. Roquan Smith is a real deal. We saw him in the 16 tackles against the Texans. He's a real deal.
He's doing Ray Lewis stuff, right?
Oh man, he is, and he's a nice guy.
Oh yeah, he is. He definitely is.
He's a really, really good person, and he's a great person off the field, but on the field, he said it's always personal. They asked him, it's a personal going up against the Bengals. He said it's always every play's personal.
The worst part about like being thrown out by Steele and Bader and all of this is like if I were sitting with DaCosta, I'd say, what is it about him? And I'm sure DaCosta would say, look, we sat with him at the combine and we just couldn't get him. And that's why we sit with guys like him at the combine, because 3 years later, 4 years later, they may sign with some poverty franchise, as you like to say, and become available. And they become available. I mean, I'll tell you what. I had a conversation with Eric DaCosta in the press box in Green Bay. You can look the date up. It was the day after Baker Mayfield was cropped shopping and was going to be the number 1 pick. And I remember standing in a food line with DaCosta and just BSing, as we always did. We were friends, as I'll be writing about next week, forever. And I remember saying to him, what do you think of this kid? I mean, you want this around here? Like, and he's like, well, we're not going to have the number 1 draft pick. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't know that we're going to have to draft him. But, at that point, it looked like they were going to have to draft somebody. Flacco was at the end, right? It was the year Lamar was coming. You knew you weren't going to get the number 1 overall pick to even have a chance to get him. But saying, is he a winner or is he not? And you'd say, well, the Ravens, why would they sit and talk to Baker Mayfield during the combine? Well, he became available, and he might have been their quarterback. He's Tampa's quarterback, and it's working out okay, right? I mean, maybe second time around. Hey, we had a Tampa quarterback that worked out okay here, right? I saw the Bullies of Baltimore last week, right? We've had 2 Tampa retread quarterbacks, Vinny and and Trent Dilfer that were drafted elsewhere. So when you see the Roquan Smith thing, it speaks to the institutional knowledge of the franchise to keep and retain quality football people that evaluate these guys and evaluate where they are and their value, and might even say, yeah, that's a linebacker I'm going to give $90 million to, even though I can't draft him today. Bears will screw that up. We'll send some draft picks out. And they did. And you get to get the guy in the draft you really wanted at 26, 27, pay him what he's really worth, but at least know what you're getting.
Yeah,
right?
you've seen his body of work. He's stayed healthy. He's been a leader. He's exceeded his draft position. He's outplayed his draft position, and he has his best football ahead of him. And that's the kind of guy you give that $100 million contract to with 60 of it guaranteed.
Well, that's what 52 did around here, right?
That's exactly right.
What's Adam Jones's legacy here as we celebrate Adam Jones Week? What is your mind?
Look, you can probably answer that better than I. You're the baseball expert. I'm not an expert. I followed the Orioles casually. I know he was a great leader for the team, great ambassador for the Orioles. I love the game. I know his father-in-law, Gene Fugit. Gene said Adam always carried a bat around the house. That's how much he loved baseball. He always wanted a bat in his hand. So that's a great ambassador for the Orioles. So to me, that's his legacy for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I said I asked Cameron Elliott what his legacy, and he said he made baseball fun.
There you go.
And I'm like, yeah, right? I mean, drop the mic with that. Right? Is that blowing bubbles, right?
Yeah.
The bobblehead, the whole deal.
Yeah,
he
made
baseball fun.
Yeah, he did. He was a fun guy to have with.
He's the only Oriole player. I've been banned 17 years now. He's the only player that ever came up to me and asked me about it. So, and he asked me about it, and I wrote a book for him. So this is the week we get even. He gets in, and I'm sure they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame, right? They're going to make an announcement Friday that they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame next year, I would think, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Right? I mean, shouldn't that be part of this?
It should, if they do it the right way. If the PR
then they give a bobblehead and like a gold statue next year or something like that,
that'd be great. Be a great thing, especially during this era where the team is rising versus falling versus being irrelevant.
Well, they're on the road to relevancy. The lease, the offseason, signing players, the money it's going to take, the really tough decisions that need to be made in regard to what the future really looks like for the franchise. Because, and listen, I don't want to sing John Angelos' song, but when it comes time for him to threaten whatever he's going to threaten, and my sources tell me from the inside, he's hiring lawyers and lobbyists. That this isn't getting closer. You've seen the act of this family for 3 decades.
Yep.
This isn't going to get signed peacefully December 20th in anybody's mind right now. Maybe it will. Maybe Mama Angela, maybe I don't know. Maybe the commissioner, maybe Westmore. Maybe there's a kumbaya. Maybe they win the World Series. Maybe they don't. I mean, there's no saying what happens here, but the Orioles and its significance and their importance, it's on display this weekend, where the Ravens are playing a really big game. They're in first place. It's a division game. It's on the road, blah, 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 and all we're talking about is Adam Jones and the Orioles. That's good for the Orioles. Check mark for them that they become so relevant that in week 2 of the football season, if 40 games over 500, playing the biggest series in the history of the stadium, in front of Adam Jones at the Nest on Friday and all weekend, that we're talking baseball, and that's beautiful. That's a good thing.
All great stuff, Nestor. Here's to a Ravens victory Sunday and a sweep of those dreaded Tampa Bay Rays over this weekend.
You wearing your Rutschman jersey to the game?
You know what? I have a Manny Machado jersey. I need to update my wardrobe. That's
You're not going to get one of those Baltimore City Connect things, right? You're not doing that?
I don't know, but I need to upgrade my wardrobe. I'm losing weight again, so depending on what side I end up, I have great fluctuations when it comes to my weight, so we'll have to figure that part of it out.
I got this Aparicio one here. Well, I have a little bigger one if you want one. I mean, I have several sizes as well. Yes. But this Aparicio one, the one that I was looking at, and if I didn't have my name were an Aparicio and I didn't buy this, there was a sweet same model, number 35, Gary Renicky from 79. I would wear a Renicky. That was my guy, Gary Renicky. Kiko Garcia. I mean, I had a lot of guys. Brady Anderson was my guy in the 90s, So I had guys.
Maybe when I get to the stadium Thursday evening, I will purchase an updated jersey. Whether
People always say
Trutchman,
I'm an Eddie guy or a Cal. Anybody could be an Eddie or a Cal guy. Everybody in my neighborhood was a Brooks guy. I'm like,
no,
best friend Rob DeBillius was a Brooks guy. I'm like, why are you a Brooks guy? Be a Tom Chopay guy like me. You know?
should I get a Gunnar Henderson jersey or should I hold out for my Jackson Holiday jersey if I'm going to get one? Oh,
You're always looking over the fence at the next great thing. Just appreciate what you got.
Look,
Get
I
a
got my
Santander jersey.
Look, I'll wear my Roquan Smith 0 to the stadium, right? Everybody would love that. It's okay.
I was always a guy that I never loved the superstars so much. I mean, I love Mike Schmidt and George Brett and Tony Gwynn, but on my own team, I was always a fan of the Brandon Stokely. I was always a fan of the the guy who wasn't the star. You know,
I got you.
So.
Well, I do have an Alejandro Villanueva jersey, Ravens jersey, number 78 in my closet as well. So you, in that vein, for different reasons.
You should wear that.
Yeah, Villanueva.
You can represent the Hispanic journalists.
Okay, I might do that. You might see a big number 78 purple jersey at the stadium Thursday night on your TV set.
Hispanic American, warrior and veteran and hero.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Army Ranger. I'm all about that. 2 tours. I'm all in.
We're not going to mention the Steelers thing. That's okay.
What's there not to like? All right, Nestor. I appreciate you.
They'll be 0-2 Monday too.
Hey, I hope so. There he goes, Nestor Aparicio here at 1570 AM. WNST will take a quick break and come back right after this.